Greetings, YouTubers. This is the MU12-205-0100-A1 switching power adapter, which can be found in Yamaha, Netgear, GPS units, and also Android television boxes. The reason I decided to post this video is I've bought a lot of Android boxes in the past couple of years for friends and whatnot, and a lot of the units are failing. And what's happened is, and this is from various manufacturers, we're not talking about just one Android box manufacturer, we're talking a couple. And you'll see here on the board there's a capacitor. Well, that capacitor has failed, and that's what I'm finding in a lot of these units is the capacitors have failed. In some cases, you know, when a capacitor fails, it's not immediately obvious that it's failed. You'll still get maybe light on the unit, or a blue light or a red light, but make no mistake, most of the problems I've seen with these boxes have been that these capacitors have failed, and you'll see there. And what I've done is I've actually replaced it on this unit, and it's now working properly. This unit was sealed with glue or whatnot, so I actually had to Dremel it open. And on this particular adapter, you will have to Dremel it open. So just food for thought. You can buy replacements on eBay for about $10 to $12, but if you're like me, I'm more annoyed that this thing has failed in such a short time. They're definitely not making electronics like they used to, and you know, I could rant on about conspiracy theories about keeping the manufacturing sector going in China, but I'll leave that for another time. You'll find that most electronics coming out of China, they all have a common fail point. So let's say we have 10 TVs of the exact same model. Well, they'll all fail in the exact same location, whether it be a transformer on the inverter board or a capacitor. They usually all fail in the same way. And unfortunately, in most cases, board level repair, most people just switch out the part that's failed and keep on going. But the price of TVs right now is so low that it's not even worth ordering replacement parts off of eBay or whatever. So just a heads up, if you've got a unit that's powered by one of these cheap ass adapters and it's not working properly, chances are it's a cheap ass adapter. So when you're buying electronics, just be aware that you've got a limited lifespan, especially on these adapters. I really am pissed off because I've seen so many devices fail, and I'm talking like even my internet provider a few years ago. I had what was called a WiMAX modem, and it failed after a certain amount of time, and they were telling me I needed to order a replacement. Well, it was actually just that crappy power supply that failed, and I actually found one that put out the same voltage and just plugged it in. But now, of course, now I realize now it was capacitors inside the adapter. So if you haven't got a solder gun, I highly advise buying it, or buying one, because it will pay for itself very quickly. And buy yourself a solder put, which will, or a solder pult, which will remove solder. And if you want to get really fancy, you can buy a desoldering gun for about 150 bucks, and mine's paid for itself several times over as far as desoldering capacitors from electronics. So in this case, I mean, if all you need is a power supply, yeah, you can go buy one for $10, which will be cheaper than the soldering iron. But if you fix it once, you'll know that to check all your electronics for bad capacitors when they fail, and that includes home appliances that use control boards. There's capacitors in those that fail. I've seen dishwasher control boards where the capacitors were bulging and ready to fail. So that's some serious big bucks to replace a dishwasher control board. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.